I mean, we are coming off of the biggest public health crisis in our lifetime. And, while I completely agree with your message, I mean, our food supply has a lot to be desired. It's an insidious health problem that's poisoning our kids. I completely agree with that. But the shots are a more immediate and dangerous threat to our population.
Children are still getting the shot today.
Which I think is a crime.
Wait, all babies, this is our own government, are recommended to get 3 mRNA shots, and this is synthetic modified mRNA shots, by the time they're 9 months old.
Right.
And
which is crazy.
And we know that we have an abundance of data. We have over 3,400 peer-reviewed published studies showing adverse reactions. We know that in young people, the increased risk of myocarditis is at least 4 times. This is an immediate threat, and these COVID shots should have been pulled off the market a long time ago. And my feeling is if you have a large microphone and you are in the public health space, that you are ethically obligated to speak out about this issue. And I understand that this is not your issue.
Right.
And we've talked about this.
Yeah.
I mean, the trans problem is not my issue, but I authentically feel that this gender modification in children is wrong. So I do speak out about it.
I authentically feel that in any way pushing jabs, particularly on kids, is an absolute war crime, and I've been saying that.
Do you feel like the COVID shots should be pulled off the market?
So that is not a policy stance that I'm going to say. It's not a policy stance,
Bobby. Are you giving your children? Are you giving your children the shot? Are you going to give your child?
No.
Okay, and why not?
I think that makes no sense.
Why?
From what?
Because you have reluctance about their safety.
Hold on.
Right.
Hold on. Can I respond to this?
Yeah.
So this issue of over-prescribing medications for kids, the schedule for kids, specifically. Hold on. You seem to be drawing a line of whether I'm calling for an immediate ban as a policy platform versus what I'm saying.
Personally. Can you just say personally?
Personally, I think it's an absolute travesty how we've been misled, how these were fast-tracked.
Personally, do you feel like the shot should be pulled off the market? Yes or no?
I'll give you my personal opinion. I think there should be absolutely no mandates.
So yes.
Hold on.
Okay.
I think that we have an opportunity the next year to truly reset science. This is what I feel. And we have an opportunity to have Jay Bhattacharya, who's a close friend, who I, strongly push to be at the NIH, to call everyone together, review the science, have truth and reconciliation, bring that out to people, and have a process for that.
Okay. So
I think it's a general. So Jack.
So the answer is no. So the answer is no.
Right.
That is a policy position that I'm calling for the shots to be immediately pulled from the market.
No, you're not answering the question. You're doing exactly what your training has told you to do.
Hold on, Jack.
That's the reason we're sitting here.
Jack. I am saying that as a policy position, I think that we should have absolute data transparency, no mandates.
We have too much data.
Okay,
Danny just had Kevin McKiernan on the damn podcast. Let me talk.
Jack.
You let me talk now.
Hold on.
You let me talk.
Let me ask you a question. And this is not like a debate. I don't see this as a debate. I actually legitimately...
I don't think it's a debate either.
Hold on, Jack. Why are you so angry?
Because I don't trust you.
Okay, well...
I think you're full of shit. And Mary just uncovered why you're full of shit. Because you can't say yes or no. Let me just tell you something, Calley. When you say to the American public that my children can't have the shot, so we can't say anything for anybody else, to me, that's incongruous.
So you would argue that Trump and Biden should come out, Trump and RFK should come out with an immediate ban of the shot today?
Absolutely. It should have been done a long time ago.
My point was,
is that your recommendation?
It should have happened with Operation Warp Speed.
It should have happened in the first month.
Correct.
I think as a policy process, we need to have truth and reconciliation.
Let's talk about the policy process of the swine flu when we had 70 injured kids and we pulled it off the market.
Hold on. What is the debate? I'm saying there should be an immediate review of the data. That's not
the answer.
I'm giving my answer.
Yeah,
Jack.
but that's not the answer.
Jack,
let's let Calley finish his thought.
I'm giving my answer. And then I sincerely want to hear from you if you are giving a presentation to the administration, what your detailed argument would be to pull the shots universally today. And that's not like a debate. I actually want to understand what my answer right now is, that the mandates, especially for kids, the mandates in general, are an absolute crime. The way science has been hidden on this is a crime. The way they've been fast-tracked and pushed is a crime. The way they have been covering up other therapeutics is a crime.
Oh, we shouldn't pull it.
Hold on. And that my policy process would be absolute transparency. Absolute transparency.
Do you know how many people died in the first month following the rollout of the COVID shots?
Yes or no?
VIA is the only sponsor of this episode, and for good reason. For 2025, I'm focusing on the natural effects of CBD in my life. If you didn't already know, VIA harnesses natural power of hemp and creates premium products designed to support your unique journey. Whether you want to relax, focus, improve recovery, or simply elevate your everyday experience, VIA has you covered. It's no wonder they're trusted by over 500,000 satisfied customers. I'm one of them. I take their gummies, but they also have vapes, drops, and much more. All you gotta do is scroll through their site. From CBD and CBN to other minor cannabinoids that unlock tailored effects, VIA's products offer a personalized approach to wellness. With a range of potency options, VIA empowers you to craft an experience that feels just right for you. Known for their award-winning focus, sleep, relief, and love gummies, VIA delivers quality you can trust. Each product is crafted using premium hemp sourced from independently owned American farms and is rigorously third-party tested for purity and transparency. Best of all, they ship to nearly all U.S. states in discreet packaging with no medical card required. My experience using VIA has been incredible. I cut mine up into little quarters, and unlike other products you will get, VIA's potency is always the exact same in every single gummy. I personally like taking mine after work when I want to wind down and get creative or even work on something. And I also like taking them before bed because they absolutely help me sleep and they don't screw up my REM sleep like other gummies do. So if you're 21 plus, check out the link to VIA in our description and use my code DANNY to receive 15% off. And if you're new to VIA, get a free gift card of your choice. Again, click the link in the description below and use my code DANNY, D-A-N-N-Y, to receive 15% off. After you purchase, they're going to ask you where you heard about them, and please support the show and tell them I sent you. This year, enhance your everyday with the natural power of VIA.
Oh, Jack,
yes or no?
Jack,
do you know the number?
Jack, what's
you're
with the
a lobbyist
animosity?
guy.
No.
Let's go.
Jack, what's with the animosity?
Dude, I told you already.
Let's take a breath.
I don't trust you worth a damn.
Okay. Why?
Well, hold on. Do you know how many people died the first month?
No.
700. And that were reported.
So it's 10x compared to the swine flu that was pulled in 76.
Jack, what would be your argument if you're talking theoretically to a leader who's making this decision?
I just gave it to you.
What would the
just 10x change?
Walk the listeners through, like for the immediate.
I don't want to walk the listeners through. I want to walk you through.
Walk me through. Jack, I'm not making these decisions. I
got news for you. I got news for you. The way you've sold yourself to the people in D.C. would say otherwise.
Nobody.
I got news for you. I happen to know that's true.
Okay, so I think you might be getting bad information, but
I don't think so.
I think you are, but what is the argument? This isn't a debate. Like we should get this out.
Well, we would if you just said yes. But we're
that
not.
I want to immediately ban the shots?
Correct. That's the answer.
I don't think that's what the science says. That's not the policy of RFK. That's not the policy of Trump.
RFK. So RFK doesn't want to pull the shots.
No, he's not calling to immediately pull. He's calling for utter truth. Jay Bhattacharya is calling for.
Started to see people from youngest was 17, oldest was 94 that would present with no history of cancer, and then they had stage 4 cancer. Mm. Calley, when your mom got cancer, let me ask you a question.
Be a little bit kinder when you talk about one.
I'll be kind, but your mom did die during COVID, right? Didn't she?
Yeah, she didn't get the vaccine.
Okay, let me ask you a question. Have you ever looked at her death certificate?
Okay, so
have you ever looked at her death certificate?
Jack.
I'm just asking you a question.
Jack.
Have you ever looked at the death certificate?
Jack.
It's a yes or no question.
Jack, if you're going to talk about personal stuff,
you want to call your sister up and ask her if she looked at it?
Hold on. Bring a little more heart to this, Jack.
Oh, this is where the heart of the matter is, my friend.
Jack, can we take a breath and can you just
nope, I need an answer.
Why are you being so angry about my mom's death?
Because I think you're full of shit.
You think?
I just told you. There's no
you
trust.
Think I'm full of shit about my mom's death?
Yeah, I think it was a ruse. I don't think your mom's story, why you wrote that book, is actually what you're telling everybody. And I want everybody to hear it straight from your mouth that you're not lying to us. Because I'm going to tell you something. When you take a look at her death certificate, I want to make sure that you really understand where I'm going. Your mom lived in California. When was the first person that got a jab? You know? December 10th.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Your mom died in January.
Right.
Casey is on record in podcast saying that your mother got diagnosed and died in 13 days from a stage 4 cancer.
Mm-hmm.
You have been on Tucker Carlson. You have been on Joe Rogan.
Right.
And you've told the world because your mother had a metabolic disease that she died. Mm-hmm. Is that factually correct?
That she was diagnosed with pancreatic cancer and died 13 days later?
And it was a stage 4.
Yes.
She was previously perfectly fine, correct? Correct?
Jack?
You want me to pull the picture up from 2014 that shows you she was pretty good?
Jack?
It's a yes or no question, brother.
Jack?
Answer the question.
Jack? Stop.
No, I'm not going to.
Jack?
Answer the question.
I'm answering the question.
All right, he's going to answer now.
She was feeling a little sluggish in the months before, but the pancreatic cancer diagnosis was a huge surprise.
Okay, so let me ask you a question. Where does she live?
Half of Bay, California.
All right, so what do you know about in California in December of 2020 and January of 21? Anything a little bit unusual that you recall? Because remember, this was your seminal event that you and your sister changed your life to write the book.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
That 13 days. Because I've heard your sister and you say that. So I'm taking you, I believe you.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to talk about that issue.
Well, I seem to be saying we're making that up.
I didn't say that yet.
You just did.
No, I didn't.
You did.
I didn't.
But
I'd like to ask you a question. I'd like to ask you a question.
Let me answer the question. She was diagnosed, and then there was 13 days that were very important to me and Casey.
All right.
What's your question?
My question is, have you looked at her death certificate?
I have not seen her death certificate. She died of pancreatic cancer.
Okay. Has your sister looked at the death certificate?
What are you getting at? I have not seen the death certificate.
I think you need to look at it.
Okay.
You know that all death certificates in California are public record, right?
Sure.
You might want to take a look at that before you do your next podcast.
How is that, Jack?
Because maybe your mother didn't die of a metabolic condition.
Pancreatic cancer?
No.
What did you
why did you assume that pancreatic cancer is only a metabolic condition?
I think cancer is highly tied to metabolic health.
Yeah?
Yes.
Did you have Kevin McKiernan in here a couple of weeks ago? What did he tell you about SV40 and all that?
Yeah, well, Kevin,
is that a metabolic condition?
Well, Kevin, it impacts the cells. I mean, I think overprescription.
Remember, you're not a doctor.
I know. I think overprescription of pharmaceuticals are causing a lot of issues to our metabolic health.
But you just told us that your mom didn't take the jab.
She didn't.
So she couldn't have been overprescribed, could she?
She didn't get the jab.
No, but when was she born?
40-something, 49? 46, yeah.
Yeah. She got the polio jab. Did you know that?
So you're saying it could have something to do with a jab that she got decades ago?
And maybe Calley, let me ask you a question, because you're a great lobbyist.
Okay. Why?
Do you know that SV40 is associated with rapid presentation of stage 4 pancreatic cancer? Did you know that?
Yeah,
yes or no?
Yeah, Jack?
Yes or no? Remember,
I'm not gonna do this.
Ignorance or fraud, bro.
I'm not going to do this.
Where are we at?
This is
all right. We have to let's try to Jack. Let's try to be
Jack.
let's try to be a little bit more reasonable, just talking to each other and
I think this is pretty reasonable.
Jack, no, Jack. What's your question? Did I know? Hold on. So I am not aware of her getting any vaccines in a recent period to the cancer. I assume she was, as we talk about, she was a product of the modern medical system, and I think got probably all the vaccines that she was supposed to get.
I think that's reasonable
over her life.
Nobody would argue with you about that at all.
Hold on. So, and then my story, we can. I mean, I find this for fully good faith. I mean, we could talk about what you think happened, but my story that was implanted on my mom is she was a product of modern medical advice. She ate ultra-processed food and a low-fat diet. She probably had some tough things going on with her light and circadian rhythm and sleep dysregulation. She was working to be active, but was somewhat sedentary. Probably was over-reliant on pharmaceuticals. I don't know her whole vaccine history. She didn't get the COVID jab. That wasn't available. And, she was on other medications, as we talked about.
Just so you're clear, it was available in California when your mom was there. 271,000 people in California got the jab. Do you know the number?
Before January?
Do you know the number one place?
Oh my God. Okay.
Where the jab was.
So are you suggesting my mom got the COVID jab?
Calley.
Is that what you're saying?
Did I say that? Can I ask the question before you try to answer for me?
You make a lot of suggestions. What are you saying?
I'm saying to you.
You're suggesting.
Do you know the reason why California got the jab early?
No.
Because there was many people from China that was over there.
Okay.
So the jab was given specifically at two major places. Do you know where those places were?
Probably Stanford.
Oh, okay. And where else? In Los Angeles.
Good.
Right?
Okay. Okay, good. So my story is that she had a multifactorial issues that are actually hard to pin down of modern society that are attacking her overall mitochondria, her metabolic health. I think that pancreatic cancer and many forms of cancer are highly tied to our cellular dysregulation and not tied to the absence of some cancer therapy, but a multifactorial complex group of factors.
Let me ask you a question. Do you think it's normal? I'm going to let you keep going on, but you have to remember something. You're not a doctor, and I am.
Jack, I'm saying what
I'm saying is, do you think it's normal for a 71-year-old woman to show up with a stage 4 pancreatic cancer?
So do we know how often that even happens?
Hold on.
Very rarely. I do know.
Hold on. I think it's becoming more common. So I think pancreatic cancer generally is very deadly because, you tell me if this doesn't jibe with what your experience is that the stage 4 sneaks up on you very quickly, and it does lay dormant for a long time, and then it's known as something that it appears, and then you're out pretty quickly. So I do think that it was pretty quick, but I think that pancreatic cancer is particularly tough with that because you basically start learning about it when it's very late, often stage 4. So I think that actually is pretty common. And my understanding, Jack, is that pancreatic cancer rates, 50 years ago was not really something you ever saw someone with pancreatic cancer. And they are, like many forms of cancer, are increasing a lot. So while it's rare, I don't know, I'm meeting a lot of people whose parents have died very quickly from pancreatic cancer. I think it is increasing in rate.
Actually, the highest place in the United States, you know where it is? California.
There you go.
So
that's directly related to...
Let's talk about that.
Okay.
So you know that your sister used to have a previous history with 23andMe.
So no, I don't. Because let me talk about that.
So you don't know that?
No, hold on. Let me talk about that. Casey interned for 23andMe as a freshman or sophomore in college 16 years ago. She didn't interact with...
She's called her a wonderful friend.
Hold on. I can give you the facts. You can dispute them or whatever you want. In the past 16 years, she's seen Ann Wojcicki or whatever her name is one time, where they were on a panel. Together. The top health conference where Casey eviscerated the pharmaceutical industry to gasps from the crowd, very adversarial. And one of them posted a picture referring to old friends as an old intern. She's seen Anne one time in 16 years, has never met Sergey, and those are the facts. So you can call that a lie.
She did, when she posted on Instagram, she said, wonderful friend. I mean,
that was a reference to them being an intern. Like she does not know. She has seen Anne exactly once, has interacted with her exactly once in 16 years when that photo was taken.
Calley, do you know who's Anne's sister?
Susan,
yeah. I don't know her.
Do you know anything about her?
I know she died of cancer, right?
Yeah.
She was the CEO of YouTube.
Yeah. You know, the one that pulled Kevin off for SV40.
I don't know anything more than that.
Do you know that she had an adenocarcinoma?
No. I have no idea who, like,
you know what's special?
I don't know.
Hold on.
Yeah.
Let me go. So what do you know about adenocarcinoma?
Very little.
It's associated with cigarette smoking.
My mom smoked.
Would you be surprised?
Back in the day.
Would you be surprised to know that Susan Wojcicki didn't smoke?
My mom did smoke. She stopped about 15 years ago.
I'm not asking about your mom now. I'm asking about
Jack,
Susan.
stop being so menacing, man.
I'm asking about Susan.
You have hate in your heart about this for some reason. I don't know. We'll have to look into your motivations, but
you should have before you came.
I know them, and I actually, out of respect for other people, I don't want to get into them. But yeah. So what's the deal with Susan?
Susan died of aggressive cancer as well.
I heard that.
Right? You know that her son also died 4 months before her.
I don't know that.
Well, he did. He killed himself. Same cocktail of drugs that most of the school shooters have.
What was that cocktail?
Steve can look it up. It's an SF gate. I'm not going to go through all the drugs. Okay. It's really not important for this story.
Okay.
So the interesting thing is, Susan and your mom both lived in California.
Yeah.
Do you know that I couldn't find Susan's death certificate anywhere?
Okay.
But I could find your mom's.
Okay.
What do you think?
I would assume that's because Susan is a prominent person and they might have covered it up or something.
It's the law, Calley. Remember, you did intern at the White House and you were a lobbyist, and you know that the law applies to everybody except Hunter Biden.
That's right. But okay.
So let me ask you a question.
Yes.
This is big tech. These guys are linked to the people that you used to work for, and magically the death certificate's not there. So, Levels was paid for in a deck from A16Z.
So hold on. So Andreessen Horowitz is the largest venture capital firm in the country.
Correct.
And after my sister left the medical system, she had a thesis that a lot of our conditions that are treated in silos, you guys would probably agree with this, right? We treat things in silos. We have, endocrinologists for diabetes and ENTs for head and neck, sinusitis. It's, these things are interconnected. So one small way to attack that, not everything, but one small way, she thought, is to give people continuous glucose monitors. It's changed my life. It is a closed loop of what I'm eating. It's, a couple 100,000 people have gotten them. They don't share or sell data in any way, I think, as you suggested. And they raise money from Andreessen Horowitz, which I have not raised money from. This conspiracy,
I agree. I haven't found anything
this
that says you did.
Is, I'd happily do it. I mean, this conspiracy is new to me because they turned us down. But
so let's talk about where you think I'm going, because I'm not going there.
You go.
So your sister likes to use continuous blood glucose monitors. In her book, the one that you co-wrote with her, so I'm assuming that you edited it with her, what was the number one technology used for people with poor sleep? Do you recall?
That we recommended?
Yeah.
A sleep monitor.
Fitbit, wasn't it?
We didn't try not to recommend too many brand names, but
What does a Fitbit do?
It measures your various metrics around your sleep and heart rate,
HRV, that kind of stuff.
Hold on a minute.
Yeah.
Does it use non-native EMF?
So let me answer that. My understanding is Fitbit has lower EMF and scores lower on that, but
does it use it?
I honestly, I'd love to learn. I mean, I think the more I learn about
every
EMF,
single thing that uses EMF raises blood glucose and insulin.
I think that's maybe true.
So guess what?
What?
You wrote the book in the middle of it.
Mm-hmm.
and you told everybody it's the best way to do it.
I think trackers and understanding more about.
When did you write the book, though? When did you write the book?
Hold on.
Because the book came out in what, 22, 23?
Let's have a conversation.
But the book came out in 22, 23?
I wrote the book 20. Yeah.
When did you start writing it?
2021, 22, 2020.
Beginning of COVID. Right after your mom got sick.
Yeah. You started thinking about it. Yeah.
Okay. Do you know the paper for Nora Volkow that when it came out, that anything that is associated with non-native EMF?
Listen, I think EMF is a huge problem.
But do you know when the paper came out?
No.
Do you think your sister does?
I don't know.
It was in 2011.
Okay. So you're saying people shouldn't wear Fitbits?
No. What I'm saying is when you tell people that these are things related to a metabolic disease, and then you're using non-native EMF to track it, because guess what? Chronic glucose monitors also do this.
What is the kind of point here? Because I'm certainly open to that information, and we could correct the book. I do think biowearables are useful in understanding more data about your body. But
yeah, I don't think they are at all.
Okay. I think honestly that's a pretty small part of our whole message. But sure, I think that my personal opinion is the next 10 years. More personalized understanding of what's happening in our body can supplant the doctor kind of construct that's totally failed. I think we have these discussions on what's more important, the pharmaceuticals, the light, the food. I think I think it's kind of dumb to stack rank them, honestly. I think everyone should have an understanding of their biomarkers. Would we agree that our glucose, our fasting glucose, our HDL, our triglycerides, our blood pressure? Okay. Well,
I wouldn't. You're talking to the wrong guy about that. No, I actually.
How would you measure success, like from an internal, like personalized perspective? How would you measure success?
Heteroplasmy. That's the only way.
Good.
And the reason why I bring this up to you, and this is where
that's
me
fair.
not being adversarial with you, I find it very interesting that both you and your sister were caught with your pants down in 13 days about your mom, but never realized.
With our pants down,
meaning that you were not ready for what happened.
Died. I mean,
right, but immediately you went to blame the food issues.
No, we didn't blame the food issues.
Well, I mean,
Jack. We are on the scene, and this is your question. Why are we here? The Tucker Carlson podcast is the most shared podcast this year. Okay, people listened to the podcast and shared it. Okay, that is why we're here. And my advice, my PR advice, is I think that's because Casey's talking from the heart and it connected with people. Okay? That is the truth. All this conspiracy stuff, I got to know Bobby. I met him a couple times. And I picked up the phone from the heart. I've talked to Trump folks a couple times. And from the heart, feeling very emotional after the Butler shooting, I said, there's a generational opportunity for unity. Maybe you should call Trump and I can try to help make that happen. These are all like just personal from the heart things. So you guys can either believe that or not. I think that Casey's putting out a lot of light, and I'm certainly trying to.
Do you see
that connected with people? And the book is not about Fruit Loops, Jack.
You're an ENT. She normally doesn't get involved anywhere close to the vaccine issue. And guess what? She is knee deep in this.
Right. So Mary, I know we're like almost an hour into this podcast, but let's give you like a brief introduction, like your background.
Right. So I went to Stanford. I'm an ENT. And I kind of stumbled into, I had patients coming to me because no one else would treat them. And I'm an expert in respiratory diseases, so it makes sense. And because I didn't shut my doors, people started coming to me. And initially I tried hydroxychloroquine, but as soon as President Trump mentioned it as an option, it got shut down. And literally, the Texas State Board of Pharmacy sent out a letter prohibiting us from prescribing it. So then I moved on to monoclonal antibodies, and those worked great. People turned around very quickly, and I get unlimited supply. Well, then the government shut that down, and that was right around
Same thing happened here.
When Biden mandated the COVID shots. They shut down monoclonal antibodies. It was an orchestrated effort. Mm-hmm. And so I started using ivermectin. And I found that ivermectin worked. I was a little nervous that it wouldn't because monoclonal antibodies worked so well. But what I did find, I found it worked. And so I treated over 6,000 COVID patients. When you see that high volume, I mean, that's something I'll never again experience in my career. I mean, usually I see a wide variety of issues as an ENT. Never had such a large volume of the same disease in such a short period of time. And you become an expert in it. And, I started speaking out, and of course I got ridiculed, smeared, canceled. I'm still fighting for my medical license. So I put everything on the line to tell the truth. And I think that brings us to another point is that, all these people, all these doctors who have really stuck their necks out have suffered because of, just telling the truth. I mean, just upholding the Hippocratic Oath are being completely ignored, especially right now.
Let's flip the switch though, Mary, because I want you to talk about this. You and Casey have the exact same training.
Right.
She dropped out of
Casey
her residency.
Calley's sister.
Right. And I reached out to her several times, and I didn't hear anything back.
She dropped out of her residency, so she had no way to actually have her doors open to actually see the things that you saw.
Well,
right.
And maybe, I understand if you are not in my position, it is not as imperative to you as somebody who's seen the same thing over and over and over again, seeing people crying in your office over and over again.
Do you think that may have something to do with why she wrote a book about food?
Jack, it's not about food, Jack.
Well, I think her priorities,
Jack, hold on. It's not about food.
I'm actually talking to her, not you.
I don't want to assume nefarious motives on her part.
Are you,
But
Jack?
I do find it's interesting. It's just interesting. And
what's interesting?
We've gone over this.
A first-time author that doesn't finish her residency, that doesn't have a medical license.
Not finishing the residency.
She never finished her residency.
I know, but that's part of the book.
I know, but that's...
What does that matter if it's part of the book?
But what's your point?
Because she can't see patients. Have you ever read her levels corporate agreement?
Yeah, you're talking to people about that are mistaken.
Actually, I read it.
Yeah. They don't.
And
sell,
guess what?
They don't.
Guess what?
Yeah.
She can't see patients. Calley, do you know that she doesn't even have a medical license in the United States?
What? Why are you like?
Do you know that?
Yes. Okay. She left the medical system, Jack.
That's interesting. So hold on. So do you know a guy named Tim Noakes?
No.
Tim Noakes is a doctor that faced a multi-million-dollar lawsuit because patients thought he was practicing outside of his specialty on the internet. Cost him almost $2 million. So I've heard your sister multiple times in multiple places with you, and many of the things that she's saying with no medical malpractice, no medical license, didn't finish her ENT residency. I got to be honest with you. Maybe that's the reason why she doesn't have the same experience that Mary has.
Oh, yeah. So, okay, I'll respond, but should I?
Well, I'm just, like I said, I don't want to assume nefarious motives because she's not speaking out about COVID, but
because there's no trust in the world now.
She has it, exactly.
Jack, that's why I'm here, honestly. And I think that's valid.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Well, yeah, when you've gone through what I've gone through, you don't trust anybody.
I think you're like. I think you've got a.
I think,
but I am here, and we talked about this. I didn't see all your, I consider conspiratorial stuff. I think this idea that you don't have trust is super valid. Not just of us, of just general. I think this is a very high stakes time. And there's a lot of people listening that it's not about me or it's like I think this
actually it is about you too.
Oh, hold on. But there's also a lot of just distrust in general, I think, around the system. I think it's
I think you're bringing the distrust to this magical moment.
But
I don't want to get into.
I want to finish
stuff.
what we the whole thing. I never got to finish the whole trust thing, right? Because that's the biggest problem I see. I have patients coming to me. I have a printed list of doctors that I give them. Okay, these are the people that are like-minded. These are the people that will never make you wear a mask in the office. Will never ask you your vaccination status. Have been very like-minded, and if the government does not take this opportunity to come down and hold people accountable, we will never restore the trust, at least in our lifetime. And that people need to have everything taken down, and we need immediate and swift action. Or the trust. I mean, we'll never restore the trust. I mean, I'm telling you. Okay, look how many people are still getting these shots. I mean, it's probably less than 10%, and that's a reflection of their trust in our government, because our government is telling them that they need to get these.
I think it's like 3% for like young kids. It's like when it's the recommendation.
It shouldn't even be that.
Or
we don't know.
Yeah, it's good.
well, I mean, nobody should be getting these shots. Nobody. And so if we don't do something, we're never going to restore the trust. And this is the time to do it. And soft pedaling this is just not going to work. Well, I mean, people do not trust our health system. And
I think that's why this conversation is so important. And I also think that that's why it's admirable that Calley suggested we actually do this and he come here and talk to you guys. If he was some sort of nefarious Trojan horse, I don't think he would have done that.
Okay, but I want to emphasize that he's has a big role. You have a big microphone right now. You are all over the news. You're bipartisan news. You're all over the news right now. You have the ear of Trump and Kennedy, and we need to convince you that no child should be given the option of getting this modified synthetic mRNA shot that has dire consequences if it goes wrong. And it doesn't go wrong in everybody. We know that. But there are varying degrees, varying numbers, 4%, 15%. 1 in 500, 1 in 800, serious adverse reaction. You should see the patients in my office that come to see me with these injuries. That it is life changing, and there's nothing we can do for these people. It's very hard. They don't get better. And
what kind of people are they? What age group and what
it's
specifically?
Wide. I have young people. I have older people. But so a lot of it's neurological, which is very difficult to fix. I don't see the myocarditis, a stroke, that sort of thing, because I'm outpatient. But I see these people with a really chronic, debilitating health problems. Mm-hmm. I looked at my new patient appointments, and the 2 years following the rollout of COVID shots, 7% of my new patients were coming to see me for injuries directly related to these shots. They typically get the $1 million workup. They see a bunch of other doctors. They're never reported to VAERS. None of the patients that came to see me were reported to VAERS, even though the onset of their symptoms was horrible. In close proximity. And that's the other thing. VAERS, 1%. It's only a reflection of 1%. And now I've lost my train of thought.
The VAERS.
The injuries. Yeah. So neurological, I see POTS, which is where the blood pressure just fluctuates up and down erratically with no triggers. And that's very difficult to treat.
POTS is
very young people.
Postural orthostatic hypertension.
Yeah.
It's caused by mitochondrial damage to cytochrome 1 in the mitochondria.
So and these people, there's just not a lot we can do for them, right? And I would say a lot of people slowly get better. But I have one patient with severe vertigo, just won't go away. Young guy, 10 years younger than me, otherwise healthy, just now completely debilitated, can barely walk. I have another patient with severe tremors. I mean, he's a CEO of a company, maybe 5 years older than me. Otherwise, was previously healthy. Now just can't stop shaking all the time. I have another patient with severe unexplained pain in her flank that, she's had all these imaging studies. Nothing shows up. She's previously healthy, and just now she's just debilitated by this unexplained pain.
And why do you think specifically that he has changed his tune?
That's pretty obvious. I think it's the lobbyists from Big Pharma. Remember, they said at the Cantillon effect, they're the highest. You think that he's taken money from Big Pharma? No. I don't think he's taken money from it. I think that they are so powerful that they're bringing the forces to bear about what can be done politically or not. That's where I actually agree with him, that this has become a political issue and it's not a medical issue. And see, the thing that underpins all this is what you and I talked about on our podcast. It's the bankers. The bankers are the ones that pay for all this shit. Mm-hmm. And until we fix that problem, now here's the one thing we haven't talked about. The fact that both Bobby and Trump are big into Bitcoin as the reserve asset. Let me tell you something. I actually think that is the thing that really fixes more than anything Bobby can do at HHS now. I don't even think I don't think he's going to be successful at all.
So totally disagree with you on what you said about Bobby, but on the macro dynamic of the lobbyists and these dark interests forming the realms of acceptable debate, I think we do agree on that. I mean, that's a real concern. I think, we have in health this kind of, they call it the healthcare economy. It's like already, you see this pressure. It's like anything radical to actually change the health paradigm. Oh, it's going to hurt jobs. It's going to do. I mean, it's really complicated, really nefarious. I don't
think it's that complicated. Can I tell you why? Let me just tell you why.
Yeah, I might agree with that.
In 5 years, Calley changed everything in El Salvador. So you would say, okay, that's one guy, it's different. But let me tell you something else that everybody at this table knows. A guy just got elected in Argentina who had 100-year problem with communism, and he's fixed things already in 6 months. You know what the problem with DC is? The problem in DC, nothing gets fixed.
I agree with that.
Right.
So guess what?
Jack?
You know why nothing gets fixed? It's because nobody's willing to do the hard work. Like when you have a tumor and you're taking it out, or I have a tumor, we're willing to do the hard work to get it out. Okay? That's what we have. This messenger RNA story is a tumor, and that we have to put our time and effort into fixing that one problem, and we need to do it well, because when we do it well, then we can apply that to other problems. And that's the way it should be done.
I agree.
Calley, how do you suggest they
that.
get this message to the forefront of the people?
His message?
Yeah, what he just said. How do you?
I don't
how
know
would
if
you
that's
go
a
about
message. I think what you just said is true. I think what you said is something I'm dealing with, which is that I believe that something really positive happened during the campaign, and people were woken up on health, and it actually and why I called and what my framework has been, and what if I have any master plan, what it's been that to weaponize and make change with what we're all saying, and I think what we actually agree with general principles on where health needs to go, it needs to be politically important. It needs to be politically popular. People need to see it as a politically important voting block.
We already have that.
No,
the problem is
no, Jack.
Campaigns are won with talk.
No, Jack. Hold on.
You want to win people's hearts? Actions.
I'll be quick. It's not. Health has not been a politically important issue. People vote on issues like guns, abortion, like really hot topic issues. I do believe the MAHA movement made health actually a voting issue.
Yeah, but Calley, I disagree because guess what? The issue right now for the United States is
right?
That's a health issue.
Right, I agree.
I'll be 30 seconds. So the MAHA. Would you agree
You're,
that MAHA?
you are again redirecting here.
Well,
that's the problem we have with you.
Okay. Well, just speak for yourself. But okay. The MAHA movement catalyzed, I think, a new coalition of voters that came to President Trump, first-time women voters, independents. I think Bobby Kennedy and the MAHA movement had an impact on the campaign. That gives political currency, and this isn't anything about Trump or anyone. This is just politics. That gives political currency to actually get something done. Now, exactly as you said, you have to bash your head against the wall against this crazy, corrupt, ingrained bureaucracy to get anything done, and it's much, much, much harder. The campaign was great. I think it was really positive. It's much, much harder now to get something done. And it seems like maybe...
Yeah, but we've got two leaders to show that
it seems like maybe this debate or this whole question is like, should we be giving up on Bobby and Trump on the health agenda because it's going to get hard. It absolutely is going to get hard. And I think ideally we're all supportive and not, kind of all...
I don't think we're giving up on them. What I'm saying is campaigns are talk. We need action.
I agree with that.
Mary she said it several times. We need on the platter and the appropriate. We don't need a lower level guy. We need Fauci's on the platter.
And based on who he has appointed, other than Bobby, other than Jay Bhattacharya, it deflates my hope that actually something's actually going to happen. You don't have very many, strong-willed, outspoken people who have been appointed to the health positions. And I love Jay Bhattacharya, but he's a little on the, in terms of how much outspoken and how he's on the more cautious side. And we don't have anybody who's just out there saying shot should be pulled off the market, even though there's lots of support for that. If you want,
the data supports it. The data support. Forget about people's opinion. The data supports it. Historical precedent. Like if you're a lawyer, historical precedent matters. We pulled the swine flu after a couple of deaths. We have, by the estimates we just talked about, 550 to 17 million. You name
it. Guys, we've talked about this 50 times. I'm not standing in your way of any of this information getting out or that policy getting done. I think it should get out. I don't know what you want from me. It is not my issue. I'm being educated on it. I fully support that information getting out and that being part of a policy process for any pharmaceutical product that's killing a bunch of people. Generally, I think politically it's important. I absolutely not coming out with ideas on food bans. I think we should have mass transparency. I think start with that from a tactical perspective. I think if a drug is killing millions of people or hundreds of thousands of people, we should have that information out immediately. You guys should not have your voices silenced. I think that's why Elon and free speech is extremely important in this. And I think nobody's standing your way on that. I'm certainly not. I don't know what you want.
So is this the first time you've heard that the shots are killing millions of people?
You're acting like it.
Killing millions, killing...
Or just,
But you've never heard that before.
Let's just say, let's be more cautious. That the risk outweigh the benefits of the shot. Is this the first time you've heard that?
Well, I think personally that they do. And I think it's insane to give them to kids. I haven't gotten, boosters or anything. I think that's step one. I think there should be absolutely no mandates.
So how did you come to that conclusion?
You talked to your sister?
Yeah. I mean, we're all, yeah.
Did you take the shot?
But do you think the general public?
Did you take it?
I took the first time, yes.
So let me ask you a question. Hold on. Wait a minute. Now we're going to get to the doctor
And then
part.
I haven't gotten boosters.
That's fine.
Yeah.
Do you know about Kevin's data? That he just...
Guys, I am super distrustful.
No,
of
but
the
I mean...
scene.
But I'm saying, do you know?
No,
forget about that. Don't go where you think I'm going to go.
No, I don't.
60 billion copies of DNA plasmids and SV40 promoter in it. So I want you to just, you're a normal guy.
Yeah.
You're not a science guy.
Right.
Somebody told you that you had 60 billion promoters in your body doing shit that you didn't know about. Do you understand why, as two guys sitting across the table, and I'm telling you that the guy who did this used to work in the Human Genome Project. He was sitting here talking to Danny about it not that long ago, and that episode's been pulled by the powers that be.
Crazy.
Right.
So what I'm trying to really get you to understand, do you understand that I and Mary and your sister have to advocate on behalf of people that have that problem? Do you think that's reasonable? Do you understand why, when we question you about it, and what Mary just said to you, Calley, do you know what you took?
What?
The jab. Do you know what you took, and do you know what you got?
Bad.
But yet you're not willing.
I don't think. Are you saying you're not willing though? You're not willing.
Not willing to what?
To pull the jabs, to make a statement.
I am not. Wait, make a statement to pull the jabs?
Yeah.
Very easy.
It's a very easy thing to say. And that's what we don't understand.
But nobody, no, I'm not.
You're okay that you got 60 billion copies of SV40 in you? Is that what you're saying?
No, I think it's really, really concerning. I think it's
Is it concerning?
Jack, I can say this. Jack, just let me just answer your question again. I am taking the same position as Trump and Bobby and many other people that are trying to figure out a way to absolutely dismantle the pharmaceutical and sick care incentives that have led to this catastrophe of the COVID response, including the COVID rollout, and I think a wider issue of our sick care system. My answer to you, if you're asking for my policy recommendation.
No, I'm asking you for you as a human.
I'm not taking another jab.
And do you think it's ethical for a doctor, knowing that there's 60 billion copies, to put that into another human being?
I think that
it's an ethical question, not a policy question.
If what you are saying is true, then no, I do not think it's ethical. If what you were saying is true.
See, it wasn't that hard, Calley.
No, if what you were saying is true.
It wasn't that hard.
Hold on. I made a qual. If what you're saying is true. What you're saying.
I already know it's true.
What's your reluctance to get another shot?
What's that?
What is your reluctance to not get another shot?
That.
Based on what?
It's a good question.
Yeah.
And I think it's a fair one.
The risk reward.
Okay.
The risk reward.
And
guess
my interpretation of the risk reward.
Would you recommend that your dad get the shot?
No.
Would you recommend your child get the shot?
Absolutely not.
So who would you recommend that why do we need to keep these shots on the market?
So guys, I'm not evil for saying this. Let's just back up. Not evading. There's a couple different levels. There's let people make their own decisions with full transparency. Now, I think that's very evil in a lot of ways because our system is beyond recognition with the, so I get that. I get that's actually what you probably think.
No, what I'm saying is in her hospital.
Yeah.
Remember what she said?
Yeah.
Her hospital, they're mandating.
Which is crazy. So there's the minimum is full transparency and let people make their own decisions. I actually probably like you am a libertarian, and I honestly think deregulation on drugs, as long as there's full transparency, let people experiment what they want to experiment. I'm generally a supporter of that. Now I get that. Now I kind of have this problem with food. I get attacked for oh, your nanny state, you want to ban these. I'm like, the ingredients that are in the food is totally a construct of a very corrupt system, and correcting the corrupt. So you probably feel me saying probably feel me saying just let people make their own decision is not correcting for the incredible injustice. But that's one area you can have.
Well, that's decentralization.
We have to have that. I think any type of mandates are completely unacceptable, particularly on this issue. You have to have that. And I think everyone's aligned with the insistence of absolute truth and transparency and no mandates. Like that, okay. Then you get to a situation where you have truth and reconciliation and transparency on this being a bioweapon, on this being really killing people, on this being totally misled. My personal opinion, if you're asking from a macro policy perspective, and I could be wrong on this is my opinion, is that we're not at that point of absolute, utter ban. And actually the principles probably that we actually agree with on a lot of degrees is more of a libertarian full transparency and let people make their own decision with no mandates. So I am not standing. And Jack, we're connecting. I don't get why you're tweeting hundreds of times about me. Like I'm not standing. I am truly.
Wait, before y'all start fighting,
look at me. Hold on, we're not fighting. I think we're connecting. I am not trying to stop progress on any of this.
Okay, this is what I want to say. Okay.
I'm not. That's my opinion. I think we're not quite there at a full ban.
Okay, all right.
Politically,
I know, because going against mandates is a very safe thing to say right now. It was not safe when I said it. When I said it,
I tweeted about it in 2021. You picked out some other I have. I actually have tweeted about mandates in 2021.
I'm not accusing you of anything. Yeah. I'm just saying that the paradigm has shifted.
Okay.
Because at one point it was very dangerous to say eliminate, mandates are wrong. That's what I got canceled for. That's what Methodists went after me. One day I tweeted 25 times, vaccine mandates are wrong. Over and over again. Right. And then 5 days later.
I remember that day.
5 days later, next thing I know, I've been suspended.
Isn't it suicide for these folks to literally ban something that was mandated 2 years ago? Isn't that suicide?
Yes. No, because they have liability.
But
they actually have liability. Where the issue comes in is the RICO case.
Right. Exactly.
That's the difference.
Yes, for sure.
But so now I guarantee you 5 years from now, you'll be saying, oh yeah, those shots are really bad. We should have taken them off the market a long time ago, because the paradigm is going to continue to shift, because we are not giving up. I mean, I'm just getting louder and louder and louder. And especially, it'll be very interesting to see once Trump takes office, because I can guarantee you there's so many people that went along just to get Trump in office. And if he disappoints, it's going to be a big deal. And people are going to completely freak out.
I would say that there's been a very positive coalition that's come together that could redefine American politics, who's very focused on Malha issues that include getting the corruption out of our pharmaceutical systems. I think that's a great opportunity too. Yeah.
Is anybody talking about the COVID shots behind the scenes?
I can tell you I can tell you exactly what's happening behind the scenes. There's very little ideology, and it is full on discussions of the childhood chronic disease crisis and the fact that kids are getting so sick.
COVID shots.
I think there's
because he loves Operation Warp Speed, right? Trump and all of the advisors and everybody that he has put in positions of power, other than, Jay Bhattacharya has said on X that he agrees that the COVID shot should be pulled off the market because he signed the Hope Accord, although the Hope Accord does not have it on their website. But other than that, everybody, look at the Surgeon General pick. I mean, that's a nightmare.
I think there's
and Dr. Oz is a complete nightmare.
Who's the Surgeon General pick?
I'll just be the first one to say this.
Yeah.
I love the Dr. Oz pick.
Okay.
Oh, you do?
Yeah, because centralized medicine, what better way to blow it up than to put a World Economic Forum guy in charge of it?
Okay. I think Dr. Oz is going to be extraordinary.
You do?
And I think
why?
Do you think it's possible that a lot of these people, these high-level people in politics, and Bobby included, from what you alluded to with your first conversation with Bobby and Rick, that they aren't educated on any of this stuff? And if they aren't educated on any of this stuff, for example,
there's no excuse at this point. This is the biggest public health event in our lifetime. You should be up to speed, and especially if you're going to have power and a microphone.
Totally,
you have to be.
You missed something while we were joking here. I actually made a joke about Dr. Oz, and he actually thought it was a good pick. I think, guess what? That fits with my concerns.
Well, Jack, I think that the picks Bobby made are I think that.
So that Bobby made these picks, not Trump?
No. I think the picks President Trump made. Yeah, I think the picks President Trump made are very strong, and I think I think, this is just my opinion. I think we have people that are aligned with the vision that Bobby and President Trump painted during the campaign.
And that's the reason why I said before that I'm no longer on Bobby's train. I'm kind of out because of what Mary's saying here. I had a lot of hope. And I will tell you that when Bobby got lawfared, Nicole got lawfared, if you go back and listen to the Rick Rubin podcast, Bobby laid his vision out right there about how he's going to do it because he's an attorney and I'm going to go sue everybody like I've done before, like we did with Monsanto.
Right.
And the funny thing is, I said to Bobby, it's not going to work. And I said, I think you need to listen to what Calley did. We need to put a constitutional amendment in and take all the fucking criminals out of the mix to begin with. And he said, Jack, that's great, but not even DeSantis could pass that kind of law in Florida. But then...
Well, I will say in Tennessee, they're about to propose a bill to ban the sale and distribution of all mRNA.
I know.
Tennessee may be the first.
Well, I just got a call from one of the people, a governor, who this may be a very interesting point to bring up, especially with him, to show you just how what happened in Trump's last term could actually be helpful. And this may be really big for you in Texas. So you know that Trump took a lot of shit in his first term about abortion. And remember, since abortion is not mentioned in the Constitution, the states have to go by the 10th Amendment. Well, guess what? Medical freedom is also not mentioned in the Constitution. That means it would go the same route. So you know what that means? Uncle Jack could sit down and talk to a governor. If a governor is willing to put my constitutional amendment in the state constitution, we got an issue. And it's a good issue. Do I think that's a way to go? Because then you don't need to deal with Trump and you don't need to deal with Bobby Kennedy. In other words, you go
I
straight.
think it's going to be state by state.
Well, you have to realize the states that I think could be very, very interesting here is Trump had a very contentious relationship with his previous primary guy, our governor, DeSantis.
Right.
And we know why that relationship was destroyed because somebody who used to work at Mercury, which was a PR firm. That's Susie Wiles.
Where I used to work.
Well, Susie worked there as well. And this was not about you. This is more about her.
But you're missing the conspiracy tie.
Yeah, but you're not that important, my friend.
I know. That's why I'm curious you're talking about me so much.
You're not that important about this issue.
I agree.
The issue is, could this be an issue because your governor actually is pretty decent? Well, decent for the medical freedom aspect.
You're rolling your eyes. Why? Why is that?
Texas is bad. I mean, we have the largest medical center in the world. We're home of the vaccine mandate. Houston Methodist,
Correct.
April 2021. We were the first one to do it, and I mean,
even before the president mandated it.
Yeah, 4 months before Biden did it. And, you see what they did to me, right? I was nothing to them. I mean, I'm a solo practitioner, a pretty small practice, and they they fleeced me. They squashed me. Or they tried to. And, Abbott, he was always sort of a step behind DeSantis during the pandemic. I mean, granted, he was better than, somebody in Washington State, but he's always been a little bit cautious in medical freedom. And, I've reached out to him a lot regarding my case with the medical board and haven't heard anything back. And he has close ties to the medical community. So I don't know.
The trend.
Abbott, I don't know. Wait, you were saying you like Abbott though, and I can't remember what
the reason I'm hedging my bets. I can't say everything, but there's states around Texas that I've already talked to, and Texas knows about these talks.
Oklahoma is progressing good. Progressing well.
I'm just going to tell you, I think I'm a little bit probably more optimistic on state than I am federal.
Yes, I agree.
And the point that I'd make to you, since you and I are Floridians, I'm Congressional District 1 and you're down here. Very few people know that Matt Gaetz is someone who represents me, and I'm the reason why he kept going down to El Salvador, because I kept writing him letters saying, you need to come down and look at what Plan Bukele is. And you know that I feel very strongly about DeSantis, and I feel very strongly about the Florida Surgeon General. That is the guy that should have got the job. Because if that guy gets the job, the jabs are over, because they're basically over here. Yeah. And you're a Floridian. I'm a Floridian when I'm in the States. that is the kind of leadership that we need to see at the federal level, not the state. And the fact that we haven't got those picks in, and we hear what Calley's saying as being an insider there. That
no,
well,
I'm just saying Trump made some good
point?
choices.
Yeah. Well, you and we are opinion. Disagreeing with that.
Well, you'd agree with Jay, or you'd agree with Jay.
Jay is the only one right now that I actually think is pretty good.
Yeah.
But the point that I'll make is that he's actually confirming for me what your and I's feeling is, that it's not going well on the federal.
Mm-hmm.
So we may need to start paying more attention to the state side than not. And I think that that's where you and I are in a pretty good situation.
Can I add on to that, try to constructively? So first off, Latipo, totally agree. And, you know, I think he's a great leader and should be having a national voice. And that's my opinion. So, on the picks, I mean, I agree with your frustration. I mean, like this is, I mean, I think we're in a big opportunity federally. I think we need to be doing aggressive state actions. I think people should be listening to you, Jack. I mean, like on your ideas and on this data. I mean, you might not believe, I truly believe that. I
just so you know, they are listening to me.
Good.
Everybody in Washington, D.C. reads my tweets. Just so you know that. They do.
Okay, good.
Because I have confirmation of that, but realize something else. I'm the guy sitting at the table that wrote a constitutional amendment.
Yeah, I know. Jack.
That's actually in their hands, and they don't want to do something with it. In the United States.
My literal goal in life is to help get radical ideas and transformative ideas into our healthcare system.
And what I'm trying to tell you is the people that you think are going to help, they're not helping.
So Jack, I'm super cynical about DC.
I don't think you are. I think you're still looking for that job.
No. So we can get into my story on that. You might be right. I mean, we all have psychological hangups that we are working a lifetime to get over, and I've explained kind of the continuing to collect, plaudits along the way. I mean, sure, like everyone has their wounded child. I'm sure you do, and are working on that too. I mean, like everyone's got their traumas. I would say that everything did change when I, decided to focus on this issue and Casey and me to put our hearts out. And, everyone is the hero in their own head and has pure intentions probably, but we are trying to spread a message of light out there. And, I think any type of power you might be overstating, but like you, we're trying to push things forward.
It's not power, Calley. I want you, I just think this is the part of you that comes off so disingenuous. Okay. You are an expert in legalized lying. That's what PR and lobbying is. Let me finish.
Yeah.
It's not debatable, but you told me that you reformed, and I am taking you at your word.
Mm-hmm.
You have to realize that propaganda is a tool of the government. Obama has weaponized it against us by law. And the pharmaceutical industry can do it on TV. That's how we lost our First Amendment. That we talked about
falling out, which you acknowledge I'm trying to stop.
But
right?
We talked about that on the last podcast. My point that I'm trying to say is if the propaganda doesn't go away on the federal level, we're not going to be successful at all. That is the point. And the point when you say, well, Jack, I don't know about this and that, you have to realize, do you understand? I don't want to be a dick with you and throw the gauntlet down about ignorance and fraud. But when I say to you clearly that the propaganda arm here is a big issue, and the fact that the people you used to work with, that's their modus operandi.
That's all I'm calling out, Jack. Well, Jack, I respectfully, you've done a lot. You're pushing a lot. I don't think anyone's talked more about the need to ban D2C pharma advertising and how nefarious that is, and how that allows the pharmaceutical industry not only to brainwash people, but also to buy off the news itself.
But none of the people that Trump are putting at the federal level are doing that. That's the point I'm trying to make.
Jack, it's getting a logic problem. So I'm just talking about that, bringing that as much to the national stage as I possibly can in order to subvert it. Why wouldn't I just subvert it in the first place?
Well, I guess you answer that? No, I guess you missed my point.
Like Jack,
by
I'm
you
trying.
saying that to me, you missed the point.
Okay.
The point is you're okay with what they're doing at the federal level, but you're
Jack,
not
of
okay
course
going
I'm supportive
that way.
of President Trump, what he's doing. He's appointed the best reform-minded group of people for HHS in American history. I'm extremely supportive and extremely optimistic.
I don't see it
also
that
am
way.
extremely... I
think it's the status quo.
Who's a more reform-minded HHS group of people? Marty is pledged not to go to pharma after this. I think the past 20 years, every single FDA commissioner has gone straight to pharma. These people right now are not going back to pharma. So Jack, I would say if you investigate and if you're honest, the past 20 years of HHS leadership, this is the most reform-minded. You might not think it's reform-minded enough, but it is.
No,
it is.
Let me tell you what it's about, my friend. Ideation without execution. Ideation without execution leads to deletion of every good idea. And I don't give a shit what they say. I want to see the action.
I 100% agree with that statement.
No, you're willing to give them a olive branch now, I'm not.
Jack, I'm not giving anything.
They don't deserve shit.
Yeah,
Do you want to know the truth?
We have to hold their feet to the fire.
Hold on. We can hold their feet to the fire, of course. But I think the question is, it's a fair question, how do we support Bobby and Trump and this team as much as we possibly, or maybe that's not what you think it should do. But
no, we shouldn't support them at all. They need to do the will of the people.
Right.
That's what they need to do. Not the will of Calley. Not the will of Calley. Calley wants to be, transparency.
What do you think we should do? Well,
I think we it down. That's what I think.
Well, I
it down.
So what? Literally, what would you advise to do?
I would tell Elon and Vivek to close in places down, and I'd start with the intelligence communities.
Can we back
up?
I'd start. Hold on.
I'd start with everything tied to science.
Jack.
Because there's nobody worthwhile in there.
Can we step back and actually calmly talk about what your 100-day?
I'm very calm.
Okay. Can we talk about what your 100-day plan would be? Like what
constitutional amendment.
Okay. So what would be your recommendation of how to
anybody associated with goes to Guantanamo Bay first and foremost.
Okay.
That's it. That's the first thing I do.
Okay.
And I know that if Getz was in, that'd happen.
Mm-hmm.
That's the first place. And then I'd start changing laws. The first law I'd change, it's a 1980 law that allows scientists paid by taxpayers to benefit from research. That should end.
Yeah, I don't think there's anyone in the country that's talked more about that than me. So,
well, I got news for you. It ain't going to happen.
Okay.
And with the people that Trump's put in, the second thing that needs to happen is the liability law needs to go by the way. And here's the big issue. The first 100 days, the only thing Bobby should focus in on, only thing, is a RICO case against everybody associated with messenger RNA technology. And that includes the Department of Defense.
How would you do that?
I just told you how I do it.
I'm not.
Investigate. We already have Fauci's emails. We have Morin's emails. We have tons of data. You seem to act like the data is not there. Kevin McKiernan literally could go to Congress and tell them that he found SV40. Anybody associated with the FDA approval process, Guantanamo Bay.
I'm not suggesting that data is not there. I'm suggesting that we certainly don't fund foundational research on why we're getting sick. That
then you don't solve the problem.
Data is being covered up,
and then you don't solve the problem. Is what you're saying.
There's huge. So I think.
So you just want to ignore everything that's already out there?
No, not at all.
So you want to kind of do what YouTube?
Oh, I think as much. Bobby's talked about getting rid of the FISA department. Just open source and release as much as we possibly have. That's a huge part of transparency.
We need accountability, though.
Yep.
Or else
people need to go to jail.
Hold on. So, and again, my story is.
We're not interested in your story. We're interested in the story of we the people.
Well, I'm giving my opinion. Is that we all come from different perspectives. I am just trying to think, just intellectually, this is what I like doing, is how do you channel this spiritual awakening I believe many people in America are having about our healthcare system being broken and the incentives being destroyed, and channel that into actionable ideas that can get done in the first year. And that's not like me. I'm not controlling, I'm the one person
speaking like a politician and a lobbyist.
Well, maybe it's and I feel
not maybe definitely.
No, hold on, Jack. My story is
that's actually what our big problem is with you.
My story is, and this this is for you to respond to, is that talking about practicality puts your guys' alarm signals up that I'm somehow trying to subvert something. It's like we are at the time now where
we actually should feel that way.
Okay, but there is a question of what should be done in 63 days, right?
I just told you.
But
the people that we know have committed fraud need to go to Guantanamo Bay.
I don't think suggesting to send people to Guantanamo might be the best political. I mean,
Jack, I don't care about the political part.
I do.